Hare Krishna. Welcome to the 17th episode of Sri Īśopaniṣad series, and today's topic is Mantra 16 of Sri Īśopaniṣad. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for joining, and today's topic is the Mantra 16 of Sri Īśopaniṣad. We'll read the word to word here, and then we'll read line to line as usual. Pushan, please repeat after me. Pushan एक ऋषे यम सूर्य प्राजापत्य व्यूह रश्मीन् समूह तेजः यत् ते रूपं कल्याणतमं तत् ते पश्यामि यः असौ पुरुषः सः अहम् अस्मि. So this shloka, the tune is like Pushan Ekarshe Yama Surya Prajapatya. 13 on the first line, Vyuha Rashmin Samoha. 7 on the second line, Tejo Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam. 11 on the third line, Te Pashyami Yosavaso Purusha Soham Asmi. 11 on the fourth line. So let's see how we can chant this. Okay, we will just wing it. Pushanne karshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuha rashmin samuha tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purushah sohamasmi. Pushanne karshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuha rashmin samuha tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purushah sohamasmi. Pushanne karshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuha rashmin samoha tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purushah sohamasmi. Pushan, O maintainer, Eka Rishe, the primeval philosopher, Yama, the regulating principle, Surya, the destination of the Suris, great devotees, Prajapatya, the well-wisher of the Prajapatis, progenitors of mankind, Vyuha, kindly remove, Rashmin, the rays, Samuha, kindly withdraw, Tejah, effulgence, Yat, so that, Te, your, Rupam, form, Kalyanatamam, most auspicious, Tat, that, Te, your, Pashyami, I may see, Yah, one who is, Asau, like the sun, Asau, that, Purushah, personality of Godhead, Saha, myself, Aham, I, Asmi, am. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jaya. Translation: O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as am I. So, you can try to figure out how this is mapped to the Sanskrit. So, kindly see closely. So, I will leave that to you because we have some ground to cover today, and I do not know when this whole live stream will become all disturbing and all that because of my computer. So as far, thus far I think it's working all right. I think I know why, because the whole day I did not use it at all. That means if I don't use it at all, I can use it for like a couple of hours for this live stream and then close it, and then tomorrow for a couple of hours in the live stream. I think that's how it will work until we get a replacement. Let's see how that goes. All right. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as am I. This verse is very much is very much liked by the impersonalists, because in the end, soham asmi, you see, yosavasau purushah soham asmi. So this is what they chant actually, soham. Soham means that I am. So that means they think that I am means I am that supreme truth, tattvamasi. So this is how they think, impersonalists, and they like this verse for that reason. But in the previous in the previous sloka, it's already established that there was the prayer by the devotee. There's a prayer, and in the next verse as well, it's a prayer by the devotee for the Lord to remember all that he has done in devotional service, so that he may liberate him at the time of death. And then the previous verse also was a prayer by the devotee to kindly remove the transcendental effulgence, which means that if he has to pray for the Lord to remove the curtain of effulgence so that I can see the Lord's face, that means he is not in control of it. If he is the Supreme Lord who is praying, then he doesn't need to pray. Just like we don't need to pray to our hands to lift something, we can just lift it just like that. It's within our control, but only when it is not within our control, then we have to flatter someone to do it for us, or we have to worship someone like that. So the exact explanation, Vaishnava explanation, is given by Srila Prabhupada very nicely here. So we will go to that now. Just remember this part. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as am I. Yes, Vanajakshi Mataji is saying this verse is almost like the 15th verse. Yes. And in fact, just reinforcing yesterday's verse and with more attributes and characteristics of the Supreme Lord mentioned here. In the other verse, Pushan is used, and here also Pushan is used. That means maintainer, sustainer, and also the prayer to remove the effulgence. Then the well-wisher of the progenitors. Nobody can be a well-wisher if he is not a person, right? A robot cannot be a well-wisher. Similarly, so that means this the Supreme Lord is a person again. So we'll go to the purport. The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. This is Prabhupada explaining, try to understand just here. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. Okay. The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. That is to be understood very clearly. Qualitatively, the sun and the sun rays are same. The sun has heat, the rays also have heat. So qualitatively, and the sun has light, the rays also have light. But the heat in the rays is far lesser than on the sun planet itself. So that's a difference. Quantitative difference, qualitative similarity. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quality. The sun is one, but the molecules of the sun's rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute part of the sun, and the sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. Within the sun itself resides the sun god, and similarly within the supreme spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan, from which the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is emanating, the Lord enjoys his eternal pastimes as verified in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 29. Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha lakshavriteshu surabhirabhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrashata sambrahma sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Alright, we are already facing some lag issues. Translation: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, fulfilling all desires in abodes filled with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of wish-fulfilling trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or goddesses of fortune. So in the spiritual world, the whole world is made of Chintamani gems, which is like the touchstone. You touch that stone to anything, it will give whatever you want. And then there are wish-fulfilling trees. All the trees in the spiritual world are not limited like the trees in this material world. In this material world, a mango tree gives only a mango, apple tree gives only an apple. But in the spiritual world, the kalpa vrikshas, they give anything you want. And he is served by the hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis with great reverence and affection. This is the planet of the spiritual, in the planet of the Supreme Lord, where he actually is residing and how he leads his life there. The Brahma Jyoti is described in the Brahma Samhita as the rays emanating from that supreme spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan, just as the sun's rays emanate from the sun globe. Until one surpasses the glare of the Brahma Jyoti, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. The impersonalist philosophers, blinded as they are by the dazzling Brahma Jyoti, can realize neither the factual abode of the Lord nor his transcendental form. So both of the things they do not know. The abode of the Lord they are not aware of, and the form of the Lord, both. So when that bright light of Brahmajyoti is covering the dazzling effulgence, is covering the true form of the Lord, it's not just the form of the Lord, it's even the planets of the Lord. And this is just like an insect which can see, which can understand sunlight, and it is too bright for the insect and it can't see the sun. So sunlight itself is very bright and it doesn't know where the source of the sun is. So he doesn't know where the planet is, where the sun god is. Now we at least know where the planet is, but again the Lord, the sun god inside, the president of the sun planet, that we can't see. Until one surpasses the glare of the Brahmajyoti, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. Okay, we have read that. Limited by their poor fund of knowledge, such impersonalist thinkers cannot understand the all blissful transcendental form of Lord Kṛṣṇa. In this prayer, therefore, Sri Īśopaniṣad petitions the Lord to remove the effulgent rays of the Brahmajyoti so that the pure devotee can see his all blissful transcendental form. By realizing the impersonal Brahmajyoti, one experiences the auspicious aspect of the Supreme, and by realizing the Paramatma or all-pervading feature of the Supreme, one experiences an even more auspicious enlightenment. But by meeting the personality of Godhead Himself face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious feature of the Supreme. Why this is explained like this? Because Tejo yatte rupam kalyana tamam. Now kalyana, rupam means form, kalyana means auspiciousness or auspicious, tamam means superlative degree. Kalyana is auspicious. Kalyana taram, taram means more auspicious. Then kalyana tamam means most auspicious. I think you know this. This is positive, comparative, and superlative in Sanskrit. There's an example of this in the 18th chapter. I'll just show you that. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18. I think verse 63. Okay. Now here you see. Iti te jnanam akhyātam guhyāt guhyataram maya guhya. Guhya means what? Guhya means secret, confidential. Guhyāt means from guhya, more than confidential. Than confidential, guhyāt, confidential, than confidential. Guhyataram, taram, you see the taram, that is used when it is comparative. That means guhyataram means still more confidential. That means guhyat guhyataram, confidential than this knowledge. You see, thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. That means I have already told you what is confidential knowledge, but more than that confidential knowledge which I have already told you, I am now telling a knowledge which is even more confidential. Okay? Now, next verse you see, Sarva Guhyatamam, the most confidential of all. So, Guhya or Guhyam, Guhyataram, Guhyatamam. So, this is positive, comparative, superlative. So, same thing. So, Taram means more, but Tamam means most. So, Kalyana Tamam means the most auspicious form. And this is the real meaning of Nirakara. Nishreyasaya. Okay. Nishreyasaya. Okay, just okay, let's see 1-3-40. You see, Nishreyasaya, for the ultimate good. So this Nih, Tamam is usually a suffix after the word, but Nih comes before. It's a prefix of the word. And it also means, it actually has two meanings. It means negation or it means superlative degree. So nirakar means nirmama, for example, nirmama. That is actually nih plus mama. It becomes nirmama. This is sandhi. So that prefix nih is negation there. Nirmama means no sense of proprietorship. But nih shreyasaya, as in here, nih shreyasaya, for the ultimate good. Whereas we see nirmama, you see nirmamo bhutva, without ownership. Mama means mine, to think that I own this, it's my property, or I am the proprietor. So that sense of mama, aham mameti, so that is this sense of proprietorship, ownership. But nirmama means without that. So nir has these two meanings. But of course Shankaracharya, while preaching his Mayavad philosophy, he translated nirakar means without akar, which is also true, because he doesn't have an akar that we are used to. Okay, there is some lag now. Yes. So Sukhataram. So Vrajkishore Prabhu has given in the comments. So he said, he quoted a verse from Mukundamala Stotra, which is like this. I do not know if you can see that. So this is Sukhataram, the third line, first word you see, Sukhataram. So that is the ninth verse of Mukundamala Stotra. Sukhataram means more happy or a happier. There is nothing more happy than remembering Kṛṣṇa. So that is the meaning of that verse. So knowledge of me without desires for profit. So these two meanings are there. So nirakar means he has no akar of which we have experience of, which is this material form. Akar means form, basically. So akar means form and material forms that we are used to. So nirakar means he doesn't have a form like that. And the other word is nirakar means the best of forms and the most auspicious form, as in today's verse. Rupam kalyanatamam. It is not only most perfect form, but also the most auspicious. And also, in Prabhupada explained in the purport here, it is also called the most auspicious because of the three stages of realization. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11. Vadanti Tattvavit Tattvam Yajnanamadvayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. So, these are three stages of realization. So, the Brahman is auspicious. Of course, if we fall down from there, it is not going to be auspicious. And that's what the Īśopaniṣad mantra 12 says. And Paramatma realization is even more auspicious. But then the most auspicious realization is the Bhagavan, because there is no inauspiciousness anymore. Whereas even in the even in the realization of Brahman and Paramatma, there is chance of inauspiciousness because we can fall down. So it is not completely, it is Kalyanataram, but there is chance of falling down. Kalyanatamam, the most. So that's why Bhagavan realization is the highest. Since he is addressed as the primeval philosopher and maintainer and well-wisher of the universe, the supreme truth cannot be impersonal. See, one cannot be a philosopher unless one is a person, right? We can't be a robot and be a philosopher. No. We cannot be a robot and a maintainer. Well, maybe possible, but if it is only controlled by, again, engineers behind. So the robot is not independent. Then finally, the well-wisher. To have well-wishing attitude, that is a personal thing. It cannot be impersonal. So all these points point to the attributes of a person. So again, it's not impersonal. This is the verdict of Sri Īśopaniṣad. The word Pushan, maintainer, is especially significant, for although the Lord maintains all beings, He specifically maintains His devotees. After surpassing the impersonal Brahmajyoti and seeing the personal aspect of the Lord and His most auspicious eternal form, the devotee realizes the absolute truth in full. In his Bhagavat Sandarbha, Śrīla Jiva Goswami states, quote, "The complete conception of the absolute truth is realized in the personality of Godhead because He is the Almighty and possesses full transcendental potencies. The full potency of the absolute truth is not realized in the Brahmajyoti. Therefore, Brahman realization is only partial realization of the personality of Godhead. O learned sages, the first syllable of the word Bhagavan, which is Bha." So, Bhagavan has how many syllables? Bhagavan, 3 syllables. So, the first syllable of the word Bhagavan, Bha, has 2 meanings. The first is one who fully maintains, and the second is guardian. The second syllable Ga means guide, leader, or creator. The syllable Van indicates that every living being lives in him and that he also lives in every living being. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagavan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without a tinge of material inebriety. Without any material distortion, all this he has in complete. So, Śrīla Jiva Goswami, unquote. So, that is the end of his quotation. So, Śrīla Jiva Goswami is giving more information about what actually Bhagavan means, and he actually divided all the 3 syllables, and all the 3 syllables he has given meanings. And Bhagavan together means infinite, representing infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence. So, these all are personal attributes again. The Lord fully maintains His unalloyed devotees and He guides them progressively on the path toward devotional perfection. You see, maintainer and guide, right? Now, Prabhupada is explaining how all these features of Bhagavan that Śrīla Jiva Goswami has enumerated, how they are actually applied by the Supreme Lord in maintaining His devotees. The Lord fully maintains. So, Pushan means maintainer, right? So, he maintains His unalloyed devotees. Now, you may say, even a non-devotee is maintained, right? Everybody is maintained by the Lord. Yes. But for the devotee, he personally maintains. There is personal attention for the devotees. Whereas, for the non-devotees, he is maintained through his agency of Maya. But for the devotees, he is personally looking after them. So, that's why that is more important. The Lord fully maintains His unalloyed devotees and He guides them progressively on the path toward devotional perfection. As the leader of His devotees, He ultimately awards the desired results of devotional service by giving Himself to them. So He becomes purchased by such devotion. There's a nice verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, Text 66. Mayi nibaddha hridayah sadhavah samadarshanaah vashe kurvanti mam bhaktya satstriyah satpatim yatha. As chaste women bring their gentle husbands under control by service, the pure devotees who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of the heart bring me under their full control. So this is how a devotee controls the Lord, and the Lord gives Himself to such a devotee. Not only He takes care of them, he becomes a purchased commodity by the devotee. So much so that such devotee can distribute him to others. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also said, Kṛṣṇa she tomar, Kṛṣṇa dite paro. He is praying to the Vaishnav Thakur, that you own Kṛṣṇa. What is that? Tumara hridaya sada govinda vishram. So in the heart of the devotee, the Lord is, very nicely he is resting in the heart of the devotee, very comfortably resting in the heart of the devotee. So that's how and Hanuman showed it. He opened his heart and he showed everyone. So that's the power of the devotee, that he can not only show, he not only has Krishna, but he can show Krishna, and he can, make Krishna available for everyone. That is the power of a pure devotee. When you own something, you can use it as you want. But when you're a tenant, you can't really do it. Like in our body, we think we are the owner of the body, but we are kicked out at a certain point of time. So that means we are actually not the owner, because if we were really the owner, then we would have been in complete control. That is the meaning of ownership. You have complete rights over it, over your property. But when we do not have, that means we are not the owner. So when it is said that the devotee becomes the owner of Krishna, that means he can do whatever he wants with Krishna. You see? That is the meaning of when he owns. He ultimately awards the desired results of devotional service by giving himself to them. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by his causeless mercy. Thus the Lord helps his devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Being the creator, he can bestow all necessary qualifications upon his devotees so that they can ultimately reach him. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayandite. So he gives the intelligence by which they can come back to him. The Lord is the cause of all causes. In other words, since there is nothing that caused him, he is the original cause. Consequently, he enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by him, for he expands himself as the Purushas. Who are they? Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Purusha avatars. They are the Purushas, the three Purushas, who actually deal with the material world. Krishna personally, he doesn't deal with the material world even. His expansions, the Vishnu forms, they deal with the material world, and even them, they don't deal directly. The one who is actually in touch with the material world is Lord Shiva, and the glance of the Lord agitates the Durga or the material energy, and Lord Shiva is understood to be that power of that glance which impregnates the material nature with all kinds of living entities, and that is the meaning of Shivalingam. Shivalingam is actually the genitals of Lord Shiva and Parvati, which is the generating principle of all living beings in this material world. And actually there is the real contact with the material nature. And to be in direct contact with material nature, Krishna has expanded himself as Vishnu, and then Vishnu expanded himself as Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva deals with the material world. And because he has that touch with the material world, he is considered to be like the yogurt, which is produced by adding some touch of sour substance to the milk. So that sour substance is the material world. The material world is a sour place. It's not a very sweet place. So that sour substance, because of that, Lord Shiva is compared to the yogurt. Kshiram yatha dadhi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tatah prithagasti heto yah shambhutam api tatha samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So dadhi means yogurt and kshiram means milk. Kshiram is compared to Lord Krishna and dadhi is compared to Lord Shiva. So that dadhi or yogurt is produced by adding of a sour substance or a culture, like the yogurt culture or some bacteria, and that produces yogurt. So that's why Lord Shiva is not of the same potency as Krishna, but he is very, very close to that, but it's not equal. So the external potency is not exactly manifested by him, for he expands himself as the Purushas, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of the material manifestation. And another place where this is explained, and this is in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4, he explains this material world, material energy, and all its ingredients, the eightfold ingredients, as bhinna prakritirashtadha. You see, bhumirapo nalo vayuh khammano buddhirevacha ahankaramiti me bhinna prakritirashtadha. Bhinna means separated energy. All these 8 constitute my separated material energies. So that means he doesn't directly deal with them. Just like a prison house. The Prime Minister or King doesn't directly deal with the prisoners inside. The prison warden, he takes care of them, right? The prison authorities. Similarly, the prison authority of this material world is Durga Devi. And Durga means something which you cannot conquer. Ga means to go, and Dur means very difficult. So very difficult to go out. Insurmountable. That is Durga. So that's just like a prison house. You can't really run away from that. So that is his prison house, and she will take care of the people here. And she takes care of their necessities, just like the prison authorities. They give food to the prisoners, they give their maintenance, whatever, but still they are punished. But for the devotees, those who have become Krishna's devotees in this prison house of material world, Krishna personally takes charge of such people. So he is not even under the control of Durga Devi anymore. He directly takes charge of the devotee. That's why he is called Bhakta Vatsala. And this is not partiality. This is just, if a government gives a medal of honor or some award to somebody, and it is not that the government is partial to that person. No. It is just that that person has rendered very good service to the country in whatever field he is in, and because of that he is recognized for such service. Similarly, and also that medal, that honor is open to everyone. Whoever can do some nice service for the country, he will be rewarded that way. So it is not that government is partial to that person. The government has some special interest in him. No. But because of his very willing, such dedicated service, he gets the recognition. Likewise, when we serve Krishna, that's when Krishna will personally take attention and recognize our service. Because Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇi, devotional service is Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇi. It attracts Krishna. So therefore, that is the best way to get the attention of Krishna, by doing devotional service, not by demanding an appointment with him. No, we cannot demand like that. We have to just humbly and nicely serve. Like there is a story of Prabhupada where he arrived, I think this was where? San Francisco, I think. And he arrived in the airport, and all the devotees, received him, and they were chanting, jumping high and low, and singing Jaya Prabhupāda, Hare Krishna, and they received him at the airport, and then they brought him to the temple, and everyone was around Prabhupada. But then Jayananda Prabhu, he was not anywhere near that scene at all, and he was just cleaning the temple. So when they came to the temple, Jayananda Prabhu was still not anywhere. So Prabhupada asked the devotees, where is Jayananda Prabhu? So many people were around him, but he asked, where is Jayananda Prabhu? Then they said, he's actually cleaning the temple, the whole rooms and everything, and all the temple there, he's cleaning. Oh, that's very nice. So you see how Prabhupada attention, although there are so many devotees around him, his attention went to him because he was serving, and he was diligently engaging in his service. Of course, receiving a spiritual master is also important. It's not that nobody should receive the spiritual master. That is there. But he was serving the spiritual master, and that is same as receiving him actually. So, similarly, when we serve Krishna, when we are just busy in our service, just taking care that whatever service is given to us by the devotees, we just execute that service to the best of our ability with full attention and with full involvement, that will attract the attention of Krishna. And especially when the spiritual master gives a service, that is very, very auspicious to carry out that service. So he expands himself as the Purushas, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of the material manifestation. By such expansions, he creates, maintains, and annihilates the cosmic manifestation. Vanajakshi Mataji, okay, I will take questions later on, but I just saw this question, so I am just. Vanajakshi Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, are these three Purushas are also called as Mahatattva? No. What is the difference between Vishnu Tattva and Mahatattva? Alright, we will answer that later. But no, the Purusha avatars are not Mahatattva at all. Mahatattva is the unmanifest material nature in its potential state. Well, we will get to that later. It's actually a very, it sounds very abstract actually, but it's not abstract. I mean, it's factual, but it's hard to imagine. But we will get to that. I think there is a whole chapter in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyway, we will get to that later. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self, and because some of them desire to be Lords and imitate the Supreme Lord, He allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over nature. Because they wanted to become the Lord, He gives them the facility. Alright, you become a Lord of this nature. Try as much as you can. That's why when we come here in this material world, Prabhupada said, we first start as Lord Brahma. In our universe, the Lord Brahma is a great devotee. But when one falls down from the spiritual world, that is the process of degradation, and we have all started as Lord Brahma, and then we proceed downward and downward until we become a worm in the stool. Because of the Kupusami, he is saying, why sometime no signal? Kindly let me know, everybody, if the audio and video is coming good or not. I know there is a slight lag, I can see that, but you see if there is any other disturbance in the live stream. Let me know in the comments so that I can know. He allows them to enter into the cosmic creation, alright, with the option to utilize their propensity to lord it over nature. Because of the presence of his parts and parcels, the living entities, because of the presence of his parts and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord Himself in His plenary feature as Paramatma, the Super Soul, who is one of the Purushas. Okay, Vijay Sharma Prabhu is saying audio is very good. Radhika Mataji is saying very clear. Kunti Mataji is saying okay. Okay, everybody is saying okay. Audio, video, both are good. Okay, thank you very much. We will continue. I do not know, Kupusami Prabhu, where I don't know how you're having a problem. I think the problem is not on my end actually. So, thus the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord Himself in His plenary feature as Paramatma, the Super Soul, who is one of the Purushas. And there is a nice purport that Prabhupada gave. Okay, we will read further a little bit and then we will go to that purport. Right? Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity Atma and the controlling Lord, Paramatma, the soul and the Super Soul. Paramatma is the controller and the Atma is the controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of the living being. The Paramatma is fully cooperating with our desires in this material world. Look at that. Man proposes, God disposes. So, our desire is being carried out by the Lord. Even though we are behaving in a way, maybe sometimes that we are qualified to become only a pig, the Lord is giving us the facility. Without the Lord giving us, we can't even live. We can't even breathe air. There is this story. Maybe it's a fake story, but it is still a fact. I mean, the principle of it. The story of it is maybe is a fake thing, but that recently when COVID-19 pandemic happened, and there is this 93-year-old person in Spain or Italy, and he was he was also tested positive. And in his, this is a story that they told, but I don't know how far it's true. But anyway, the principle is true. So, and at the end of the day, he was charged some $5,000 for the ventilator for his breathing. And then he started crying, and then the staff of the hospital, they also kind of they were moved a little bit. They said, "Please don't cry. We will see how this can be maybe helped with crowdsourcing or whatever it is. This funding, we will see." No, he said, "No, I'm not crying because of the cost. I'm crying because for 93 years, the Lord has given me air, and He hasn't charged me anything. And for free I have taken the air from the Lord, and now for the little bit of air I have to pay $5,000. That means how much I owe the Lord." So I don't know if the story is exactly as it happened, but it was doing its rounds on social media and WhatsApp kind of things. But anyway, but the principle is true, that if the air ventilator is it costs so much, the air to breathe, I mean, the whole air every day, every second we're breathing, how is it even possible that we can repay the Lord? And that's just air. What about water? What about food? What about sunlight? What about our own body? What about our intelligence? What about our mind? How much does all this cost? This is completely, we can't even imagine how much debt we have. So the Lord is cooperating with our desires, but it should be the other way around. We have to cooperate with the Lord's desires, and that is bhakti, and that is the most auspicious way of life. And even when we come to God in our materialistic pursuits, when we come to Him, we still ask Him to fulfill our desires only. And He has been fulfilling our desires. It's not that He has not been. He has been always fulfilling our desires. And still when we come to the Lord, we still ask Him for more and more favors. But if we come to Him, at least He will take that as a good sign. Even when Putana came with the wrong desire, he benedicted her, right? So if we come at least to Him, even for some material thing, which is not as deadly as what Putana wanted, it is definitely better than that. So therefore Krishna calls them Sukritina. Actually it is nothing very Sukrita in that, because one is just after material things, but the Sukritina is because of at least he has come to the right source. So the Lord, He will fulfill the desires in such a way that He will never ask, the devotee will never ask for anything more, and that is explained in the 5:19:27. We have seen this before, but we'll see it again. Because it's always good to recollect all these verses. The more times we hear something, the more it will become ingrained into our consciousness, etched in our memory, and we can remember to quote it when we are preaching. Because if you see Prabhupada, how he quoted so many verses which will never be erased from our memory. Dehenosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. And it will never be erased because so many times over and over. So that's what we need to do. So that's why even though we have heard this, it is good to again reiterate every time. 5:19:27 Bhagavatam. Satyam dishatyarthitamarthito nirnam naivarthado yat punararthitayatah swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichhatam ichhapidhanam nijapada pallavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches Him with such motives, but He does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at His own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. You see how it is? This was actually shown, I think 22.42, right? By Dhruv Maharaj. Sthanabhilashi tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam Kachan vichinvan api divyaratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. When he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruv Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you. See, he has given him Īśopaniṣad, the shelter at his own lotus feet, because of which he did not want anything more. But still, the Lord gave him, just to prove to the others that it is not just that the Lord will trick somebody and then he wants some asking for some sky high benediction, and then he will just trick him and charm him and then hypnotize him and makes him forget the sky high desire, and then keeps them under his control. If somebody wanted to criticize that thing, he gave Dhruva Maharaj just to prove that wrong and to show that he can actually give his devotees everything that they want. He in fact gave Dhruva Maharaj a position greater than Lord Brahma, which he wanted. The pole star is his star, his planet. So he gave him, but he gave him in such a way that he will never ask for it again. And briefly, this happened, in a small way in my own life as well, because in the beginning when I joined Krishna consciousness, I was very much interested in martial arts, and I was wanting to go to China and learn Kung Fu there and become a Kung Fu master. I was only about 16 years old at the time, and I asked my father that I wanted to go to China, so to give me permission. My father said, shut up and study. So I was just very disappointed, and I was like, what to do? So then I read this Bhagavad Gita soon after. And then when I read the whole Bhagavad Gita, I read it once, of Prabhupāda's Bhagavad Gita, I bought it. Actually, one brahmachari, he came to my college and he sold me, then I started reading. And once I completed, now I was still not out of my material desires, but I had one extra thing now. I had the faith that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I was praying to him fervently. Please, Kṛṣṇa, send me to China. I want to become Kung Fu master. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After reading Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupāda's Bhagavad Gita, nothing much went inside my head, because if it really sunk in, then I should have actually surrendered to Kṛṣṇa. But at least purification happened. I accepted Kṛṣṇa as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I was praying to him, please send me to China. So I had this material desire. I asked him that. Then soon enough, I got this postcard. Random. It was some recruitment agency where I got this thing, and they announced there. It was addressed to me. I don't know how they got my address. Maybe from my college. I don't know. Absolutely no idea. It just comes to my our house, and then I open it. Then it says that there is an interview and an exam for a college in Singapore. If you're interested, you can apply. Then I just showed it to my father. He said, "Wow, that's good. Yeah, you should study." I said, "Okay, fine, that's okay." Then inside my mind, I was like, "Wow, Kṛṣṇa, you are perfect. You are so great. You have given me the stepping stone to go to China. I will go to Singapore, and from Singapore I'll go to China. Yes. So Kṛṣṇa, you have actually fulfilled my desires. You are great." I was just like very happy, and I was still praying that I would pass the exam. Again, I was praying to Kṛṣṇa that I would pass the exam, and I did pass. And I was selected, and then my father said, "All right." Then he sent me here. Immediately, and before this, in China, there is this temple called the Shaolin Temple, where Kung Fu is taught. That's like the Tirupati of Hinduism, or Mecca of Islam, or the Vatican City of Christianity. That's like that for Kung Fu, that Shaolin Temple in China. So that was my dream. And then in Singapore, I immediately joined in my college. There was a Kung Fu club. I joined that, and I also went to another external school. I searched and I found something, and I went there. Even before that, I was already like I had some books of Kung Fu and then I was just practicing from that at home in India before even I came here. I was just practicing from some books on my own. So I enrolled myself in 2 schools and I was going almost like twice or thrice a week, and I was training and I was staying at home, and this way I was getting excited about that. And then at the same time I was studying, and eventually a year later, after coming to Singapore, I was introduced to the Hare Krishna temple. Then I started my journey here with Krishna consciousness, and at one point I decided, okay, I think Kung Fu is waste of time, because I really can't save myself with Kung Fu. When death comes, I can't fight death, that will be foolish of me. Bruce Lee is one of the greatest fighters, and he died at 30 something. Where is the guarantee that so-called self-defense? If death has to come, it will come, and I can't really defend myself. And by then I already read a few other books of Prabhupada, and I was chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds, and I had studies to do, I had projects in school, and I was chanting and reading, and it was too much anyway. And materially it was not becoming possible, and also I thought, what is the real deal? Here we have Krishna consciousness is eternal life and much more worthwhile. So I gave up. And I forgot about it, and then I was engaging myself in devotional service. 8 years later, after my college finished, in 2015, we went to China for preaching, and we went to the Shaolin temple. Believe it or not, I went to the Shaolin temple with all the devotees, and we had a huge kirtan there. We still have the video footage of it, and we had a nice kirtan. We went to the Great Wall of China. We did a kirtan there, nice kirtan, public kirtan on the Great Wall of China, dancing and chanting. And we had a kirtan at the Shaolin temple. And then we had, they had this show where they do all this gymnastics and everything. You can just sit there, it's a free show. And we sat there, and I was looking at all of them doing all this gymnastics and kicking and jumping, which was my dream at that time. Not at that time, way before, when I was 16, 17 years old. I was like, when I was looking at that in 2015, I was like, is this what I signed up for? This was my dream. It's like, what? They're just jumping like monkeys. They're going to just become monkeys next life. What is the point? So, what I wanted to say is this, that I asked Kṛṣṇa to take me to the Shaolin temple, and he did. He did that for me. But he did that in a way that I would never ask for that ever again. So the Kṛṣṇa gave me, by the mercy of Prabhupada and all the devotees, especially Sindhugopal Prabhu and all the wonderful devotees, I have been given the chance to, get shelter at the temple and service and all these things. And compared to all this, Kung Fu is like what? It's like complete waste of time. Completely in the bodily concept. There's no enlightenment there. It's just like, so that's how Kṛṣṇa actually does for his devotees. If you really come to Kṛṣṇa, he will fulfill your desires in a way which you will never ask for it again. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates, we have read that. The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping as well as in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Now the Brahman, which is the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord, exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping as well as in potential states. This potential state is like the Mahat Tattva, for example. It is already there. So Mahat Tattva is again the ingredients, the sum total of all material energy, that is the Mahat Tattva. So in all circumstances, it is already there. The Brahman is never gone. It is always there. And from which the Jiva Shakti, the living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Since the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, He is the source of all living entities and all else that exists. One who knows this engages himself at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such a pure and fully cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to Him in heart and soul, and whenever such a devotee assembles with similar devotees, They have no engagement but the glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. Those who are not as perfect as the pure devotees, namely those who have realized only the Brahman or Paramatma features of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of perfect devotees. The Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts, and thus, out of His special favor, He dissipates all the darkness of ignorance. The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on on their own strength. This is important. The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine the activities of the Supreme Lord, the potencies of the Supreme Lord. They cannot appreciate the activities of perfect devotees as well, because they more or less depend on their own strength for their elevation. Whereas devotees, they depend on Krishna's strength for elevation. So totally different. As stated in the Tattvavit 1.2.23, the Lord can be known only by those whom He favors and not by anyone else. See that? Such special favors are bestowed upon His pure devotees only. Īśopaniṣad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyoti. The favor of the Lord is beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyoti. Now, in the Tattvavit, this part is good too. That's the end of the... Wow, today we have finished very fast. But, this I just want to expand upon this verse of Tattvavit 1.2.23. Something important here. You know this verse? Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo. Na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. Okay, this is explained here in the purport. But you know what? It's good to read this conversation, the actual verses, this whole conversation between Gopinath Acharya. Video has stopped. Virendra Prabhu he says video has stopped. For me it looks alright. Kindly let me know in the comments if the video has stopped. I know there's a bit of a lag, but kindly let me know in the comments how it is for you, because I can go forward only with your willing participation. You mentioned that there is no purport. Yeah, there's another purport I wanted to show, yes. We'll go to that as well. It's alright. Okay. Okay here for the rest of them. It's okay. Alright. So for many persons it's okay. Okay, yeah. I wanted to show another purport, right? Forgot about that. Let me just check. Just try to remember where exactly I was thinking about that purport. Oh yeah, yes, now I remember. Srimad Bhagavatam 3, this was actually because I was looking at a lecture that Sunagopal Prabhu gave a few months ago. I was just looking back at that lecture last night, and I found this very important thing which made a lot of sense. Of course, everything makes sense, but then is that this? Oh, no, wait a second, not this. I got the chapter number wrong. Okay, wait a second. Oh yeah, here. You see, Brahma, how he created after he slept and woke up in the day after his night. You see here, Canto 3, chapter 20, verse 17, and then actually 18 is the verse which I wanted to show. So, Sonu Vishto Bhagavata Yah Shete Salilashaye Loka Samstham Yatha Purvam Nirmame Samsthaya Svaya. When that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean, entered the heart of Brahma, Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. So, when Brahma wakes up, he's groggy and all, and he doesn't remember how the universe was created on the previous day. He forgets after his long sleep. In the beginning of the day, the Lord has to again remind him every single day how to go about again creating again the whole planetary systems. So that shows that Brahma is dependent on the Supreme Lord for his creation. Although he is known as the creator of this material world, he cannot actually create without the intelligence given by the Lord. Now in the next, so he began his creation. Now the next verse, 3.20.18, Sasarja chhayaya vidyam pancha parvanam agratah tamisram andhatamisram tamo moho mahatamaha. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number. See the 5 coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in number and are called Tamisra, Andhatamisra, Tamas, Moha and Mahamoha. Now here, these verses here, this is from the Vishnu Puran. So the entire purport is actually the explanation of these verses, these 2 verses. Actually there are 2 verses here. So these is the verses that Prabhupada expanded upon in the purport, and he explains this whole thing. We'll just read this verse first. Tamo viveko moha syad andha karana vibhramaha mahamohastu vigneyo gramya bhoga sukhaishana maranam hyandha tamisram krodha uchyate avidya pancha parvaisha pradurbhuta mahatmanaha. Now this is the whole purport is the explanation of that. So I'll just read on. The conditioned souls or living entities who come to this material world to enjoy sense gratification are covered in the beginning by 5 different conditions. The first condition is the covering of tamisra or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence. It is misuse of that minute independence for the conditioned soul to think that he can also enjoy like the Supreme Lord, or to think, why shall I not be a free enjoyer like the Supreme Lord? This forgetfulness of his constitutional position is due to anger or envy. The living entity, being eternally a part and parcel servitor of the Supreme Lord, can never, by constitution, be an equal enjoyer with the Lord. When he forgets this, however, and tries to be one with him, his condition is called tamisra. See that Brahman realization when they want to be one with the Lord, the Brahma Jyoti. Today's verse is about going beyond the Brahma Jyoti. So that when one is in this Brahma Jyoti thing, and when one wants to become equal with the Lord or one with the Lord, they are in the state of tamisra. This is the ignorance, coverings of ignorance. So when he tries to be one with him, his condition is called tamisra. Even in the field of spiritual realization, look at that. Even in the field of spiritual realization, this tamisra mentality of the living entity is hard to overcome. In the material world, everybody wants to become the Lord of everything as much as possible. So that is actually also tamisra principle, because they want to become as good as the Lord as much as they can. But even in spiritual realization, that is not over yet. It is so strong that mentality continues even in spiritual realization until one comes to the point of Bhagavan realization, the Kalyana Tamam. When we reach the Kalyana Tamam, Bhagavan's realization stage, as today's verse is has revealed, the auspiciousness is not complete, because there is still this inauspicious tinges of tamisra, this thing of becoming one with the Lord. Even in the field of spiritual realization, this tamisra mentality of the living entity is hard to overcome. In trying to get out of the entanglement of material life, there are many who want to be one with the Supreme. even in their transcendental activities, this lower grade mentality of Tamisra continues. Andhatamisra involves considering death to be the ultimate end. Now, in Tamisra at least, there is some kind of knowledge that I am the soul, I am a person, in Brahman realization at least, that with the body everything is not finished. But when the ignorance becomes a little more deeper, it becomes Tamisra. Tamisra involves considering death to be the ultimate end, and many people, 99.9% of the people have this problem. And of course they have deeper coverings of ignorance, but this is a very widespread viewpoint that with death everything is finished. YOLO, you only live once. YOLO, they call it, you only live once. So this YOLO philosophy is complete rubbish. This is coming from the Tamisra platform. The atheists generally think that the body is the self and that everything is therefore ended with the end of the body. Thus they want to enjoy material life as far as possible during the existence of the body. Their theory is, as long as you live, you should live prosperously. Never mind whether you commit all kinds of so-called sins. You must eat sumptuously, beg, borrow and steal, and if you think that by stealing and borrowing you are being entangled in sinful activities for which you will have to pay, then just forget that misconception, because after death everything is finished. So no one is responsible for anything he does during his life. This atheistic conception of life is killing human civilization, for it is without knowledge of the continuation of eternal life. This again, this is a verse, This is a verse. Do you know this? By Charvak Muni. What is that verse? Rinam kritva ghritam pibet yavat jivet sukham jivet. Martya bhutasya dehasya. What is that? Kuto punaragamano bhavet. That is a Kuto punaragamano. Just let's see. Rani kritva. No, it's not even there. Okay, let's search Ghritam Pibet. Ghritam. Okay, here it is. This is what Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 7, text 119. Here it is. Charvak Muni. This Muni, I don't know why he got the name Muni here. He was just like an ordinary people here. And he wrote a shloka in Sanskrit about, this kind of life. Ranam kritva ghritam pibet yavat jivet sukham jivet bhasmi bhutasya. That is the thing. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya kutah punaragamano bhavet. His theory was that as long as bhasmi bhutasya dehasya, our end is with as long as the body becomes ashes, that's it. That's the end of our life. So don't worry about future karma, past karma. All these things are just stories. Just ranam kritva ghritam pibet. Ghritam means ghee. In those days, nowadays they have all kinds of different enjoyment, sense enjoyment. Eat sumptuously means with ghee. Ghee, put ghee and enjoy food, and when you eat so much ghee, too much ghee. Ghee is good for health. But if one eats too much of it, then you'll become, not only fatty but also sexually agitated. Then, so as a straight line, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals, jihva, udara, upastha, the three senses are agitated, and in this way, this is the basic, purview of material enjoyment. Eat nicely, and then what is that? Have sex. This is what material life is all about. So, unrestricted material life. Don't even worry about sin and all that. It's just stories, Just after we die, everything is finished. This is the Tamisra. This is Tamisra Muni. This Charvak Muni. And beg, borrow, steal. If you don't have ghee to eat, and beg or borrow or steal. Do whatever it is, whatever can bring you money. Just get that money, whatever, and don't consider sinful or pious. Just get it and then enjoy. So that is the shloka that Prabhupada was explaining here. This atheistic conception of life is killing human civilization, for it is without knowledge of the continuation of eternal life. This andha tamisra ignorance is due to tamas. That is the next stage, tamas. Tamisra, andha tamisra, tamas, moha and mahamoha. So this material world is also generally called tamas because 99% of its living entities are ignorant of their identity as soul. So this tamas means to not have the understanding that we are the soul. And because of that, we think we are the body. And everything with the end of the body is finished. So that is the real reason why we think like that. So that's why it is said it is coming from this platform of tamas. Almost everyone is thinking that he is this body, he has no information of the spirit soul. Guided by this misconception, one always thinks this is my body and anything in relationship with this body is mine. For such misguided living entities, sex life is the background of material existence. Actually, the conditioned souls in ignorance in this material world are simply guided by sex life, and as soon as they get the opportunity for sex life, they become attached to their so-called home, motherland, children, wealth and opulence. As these attachments increase, moha or the illusion of the bodily concept of life also increases. Thus the idea of that I am this body and everything belonging to this body is mine also increases, and as the whole world is put into moha, sectarian societies, families and nationalities are created and they fight with one another. Mahamoha means to be mad after material enjoyment. Especially in this age of Kali, everyone is overwhelmed by the madness to accumulate paraphernalia for material enjoyment. These definitions are very nicely given in Vishnu Puran, wherein it is stated that verse. So, this is the gradation of our ignorance. So, how you see we go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you see the material world, how exactly the material world is in this madness. Tamisra, if anybody is a philosopher, they will be like Tamisra. One with the Lord, we become one, we become as powerful. And then impersonal conception, nirviseshi shunyavadi. And then andha tamisra, which is what? To think that the body, with the end of the body, everything is finished. So to enjoy the body is all in all. And that comes from the tamas, which is not having information of the soul. And then that leads to moha, because when one is involved in that material conception, then he will increase. He will increase by sex life. They think sex life is everything, and with that sex life, what happens? Pumsastriya mithuni bhavam etad tayor mitho hridaya granthi mahu ato graha kshetra sutapta vittaya janasya mohoyam aham mameti 5.5.8 Bhagavatam. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. This is called moha. Mohoyam. Moha. Illusion. This is moha. And because of this, there is maha moha. Great illusion. Which happens why? Because of this, that I and mine, it will expand. Oh, my nationality, my sectarian, all the sectarian views, my race, my species, and in this way there are wars, there are big fighting, so many things in the world that are going on in the wrong path, in the fighting and on the war path. This is because of mahamoha. So in this way they are mad after sense gratification. So in this way, these 5 stages of ignorance. Now, demoniac people, their whole worldview is based on this only. They think sex is the thing that is moving the whole world. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahuranishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kamahaitukam. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. And what they do? They don't know what to do and what not to do. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janan avidurasuraha na shaucham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. Then They don't know what to do and what not to do. So if you are confused what to do and what not to do, so you should not do anything, right? At least don't do anything wrong, right? Like if there is those movies where they show that a bomb is there, and then if you cut the wire, it will detonate, and then there are three wires, black, what is that? I don't know, red, green, and blue or something like that. And then the hero will he will just guess what to do and what not to do. He doesn't know which one he cuts, then the whole thing will blow up. Then he's just just wings it, complete winging. So he's just let's try whatever. The timer is going off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then he's he just cut something, and just, oh, lucky, nothing happened. Those scenes. What if, of course, because he is the hero of the movie, nothing should happen. There's no suspense there because he will not die. But when you're not sure what not to do or what to do, you at least don't do the wrong thing, right? But no, these people, they actually will do the wrong thing. 16.9. Etam drishtim avashtabhya nashtatmanolpabuddhayah. Alpabuddhaya, you see, they have no much intelligence. Prabhavantyugra karmanah kshayaya jagato hitah. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. This is what they will do. They will not keep quiet. If they don't know what to do and what not to do, then don't do anything first. What if what you do will become wrong? So they better don't do, right? But no, they want to do something. Because first of all, that is the nature of everyone. We cannot stop doing anything. So we have to do something. So at least take guidance. If you do not know what not, take guidance from those who know. But no, they will decide. And they will decide always on the wrong path, because they never take guidance from Kṛṣṇa. So, and then they will go from Tamisra to Andhatamisra to Tamas to Moha to Mahamoha. So that is that purport. And going back, this last part, Katha Upanishad 1.2.23. Here, if we search up this shloka, Nayam Atma Pravachanena, we are taken to this purport of CC Madhya 6.87. And if you actually see that, there is a very interesting conversation that is going on here between Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Gopinath Acharya is actually the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And because of Gopinath Acharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya eventually got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this conversation happened after Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya already saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time. He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Jagannath temple. He fainted. He entered Jagannath Puri and he came to the temple and he fainted. And he was lying down like that for hours, and his breathing was almost stopped for many hours. So, but carefully observing the symptoms, he knew that these were actually not ordinary symptoms. Although he saw all that, he did not believe that this is actually God. He thought, yes, he is a very great devotee, definitely, of Jagannath, but he is not God. So, it's an interesting conversation. 87, okay. This is the Katha Upanishad 1.2.23 that was quoted in the Īśopaniṣad Mantra 16 purport. Okay, if we see what was written in that purport, you see, as stated in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, the Lord can be known only by those whom He favors and not by anyone else. Right? Such special favors are bestowed upon His pure devotees only. Sri Īśopaniṣad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyoti. So that Katha Upanishad, what is that? Exact Sanskrit, that is that verse. But before we get here, we will go a few verses before and a few verses after reading that verse. Now, You see, Gopinath Acharya said this to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Bhattacharya, tumi ihar na jan mahima bhagavatta lakshaner ihate sima. My dear Bhattacharya, you do not know the greatness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You do not know the greatness of Lord Chaitanya. All the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are found in him to the highest degree. He said this. Now, next verse. Gopinath Acharya continued. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is celebrated as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are ignorant in this connection find the conclusion of knowledgeable men very difficult to understand. So, he's saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya retaliated because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya at that time was an impersonalist. He's into this Brahmajyoti and stuff. So, the disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya retaliated. By what evidence do you conclude that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord? Gopinath Acharya replied, the statements of authorized acharyas who understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are proof. Now, this is actually the way we should have any argument or debate in spiritual circles. See, even though they are Bhattacharya's, impersonalists, Bhattacharya's disciples, but they asked, by what evidence? See, they wanted evidence from the scriptures to prove that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord. So, although they were, not devotees yet, they were impersonalists, but you see the method by which they ask. That is the way to find out. Nowadays, people don't even check. When some Sai Baba comes and they say, oh God, everybody is putting in a picture and there's some, biography of, wow, so many miracle stories, okay, I think he must be God. Who wrote that miracle stories? Did J.K. Rowling not write those miracle stories of Harry Potter? You know who's J.K. Rowling? The author of the Harry Potter series. She also wrote so many magical stories, right? So, Harry Potter is God or, come on. So, anybody can write miracle stories. I can make so many myself. Yeah. So, that is not the way we decide who is the Supreme Personality of God, because everybody is saying, let's accept. No, they were asking, by what evidence do you conclude? Just like we have the other example where those people, I hope you remember, few days ago we read that example where, who was that? Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He saw, people were saying that, we saw Kṛṣṇa on Kaliya, he was dancing on Kaliya snake, Actually, it turned out to be a fisherman in the night, who was having this, light where he was fishing. And the boat they took like the Kaliya serpent, and the fisherman they took it to be Kṛṣṇa. And there, in the Madhya Leela, 18th chapter, 101 verse, there Prabhupada mentions that a foolish person who is not guided by Shastra and Guru, we will go there and come back here, alright? We will go there and come back. Because that is an important point. Without the guidance of Shastra and Guru, he will take an ordinary person to be God, and he will take a God to be an ordinary person. Not only that, he will consider great devotees as ordinary persons, and he takes ordinary persons to be great devotees. They cannot. This is the third class devotee, he cannot distinguish at all. See, why would Kṛṣṇa appear in this age of Kali? Foolish people who are mistaken are simply causing agitation and making a tumult. See, when Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he actually heard everybody. Everybody is saying that every night we are seeing Kṛṣṇa in the sea, in the river, Yamuna. So he also got, oh wow, really? You are seeing Kṛṣṇa? Actually, he was personally a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was not supposed to be fooled like that, but he got fooled by these people. So when Balabhadra, then he was foolish enough not only to hear their explanations, he also asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you give me your blessing so that I can go and see Kṛṣṇa. And what he got from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? When Balabhadra Bhattacharya asked to see Kṛṣṇa at Kaliyadaha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully slapped him. So he got a tight slap from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying, you are a learned scholar, but you have become a fool, being influenced by the statements of other fools. Why would Kṛṣṇa appear in the age of Kali? Foolish people who are mistaken are simply causing agitation and making a tumult. Now here, you see, although Balabhadra Bhattacharya was personally serving Lord Kṛṣṇa in his role as a devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he mistook Lord Kṛṣṇa for an ordinary man. You see, he is asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that please go and please give me mercy to go and see Kṛṣṇa. He was seeing Kṛṣṇa there. That he could not realize. And then he wanted And he took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary man, or at least at most a devotee. That means an ordinary man. And he wanted to see that ordinary man thinking that to be God. And he's seeing God and he thought he was an ordinary man. Look at that foolishness. Why did that happen? Although Balabhadra Bhattacharya was personally serving Lord Kṛṣṇa in his role as a devotee Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he mistook Lord Kṛṣṇa for an ordinary man and an ordinary man for Lord Kṛṣṇa because he did not follow the rules set down by Shastra and Guru. This is what happens if you don't have guidance from Shastra and Guru. That's why all these Babas and everybody is coming into the altar of so-called Hindus. Because they don't read Shastra. No Shastra, no Guru. Nowadays, which Hindu is reading Bhagavad Gita properly? If he is reading at all, he will read some Gita Press Bhagavad Gita, some what is this, Radha Krishnan Bhagavad Gita or Chinmaya Bhagavad Gita. All these Bhagavad Gitas are impersonalist commentary. Anyhow, just simply wing it, whatever they want. That's not Bhagavad Gita anymore. Bhagavad Gita means that person should be like Arjuna. Sarvameta dhritam manya. I accept whatever you say, Krishna. Not that they churn out their own meanings out of it. That is not Bhagavad Gita. That is nonsense Gita. But people, they are like that now. So first of all, they don't read. And if they at all read, they read the stupid translations of so-called Bhagavad Gita. Real Bhagavad Gita, you have to come from the proper Guru, in the proper lineage. Otherwise, that is not Bhagavad Gita reading at all. One will remain in ignorance even after such reading. That's why when Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita came out, then so many devotees in America. Before that, already 700 editions of Bhagavad Gita were there in America. Not a single devotee. Why? Because no strength. It's not explained properly by a Guru. It's not as it is. That's why our Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not as it was, as it should have been, as I think it would be. No, as it is. So, going back, their question was bona fide in that sense. They are asking by what evidence do you conclude that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality? Gopinath Acharya said the statements of authorized Acharyas who understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are proof. Now, the disciples of Bhattacharya said, we derive knowledge of the absolute truth by logical hypothesis. Here is where they are wrong. They said, we want to know by a logical hypothesis. Gopinath Acharya replied, one cannot attain real knowledge of the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, by such logical hypothesis and argument. Tarko pratishtha shrutayo vibhinna nasa vrishiryasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatah sapantha. Anyway, that is from the Mahabharata. That means tarko apratishtha, by argument, by logical analysis, we cannot understand. Because achintyaha khaluye bhava natams tarkena yojayet. That which is beyond our sense perception, how can we capture by argument, which is just a work of intelligence? Our intelligence is so tiny, how can we wrap our intelligence around such a huge topic as the absolute truth? We cannot understand. So we cannot use logic and argument and intelligence, all these things to understand absolute truth. We have to accept authoritative statements from the Vedas, not by logical hypothesis. This is what was wrong on their part. That's why Gopinath Acharya said you cannot understand by such logical hypothesis and argument, because the brain is so small. Gopinath Acharya continued, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by His mercy, not by guesswork or hypothesis. This is the Bhagavan feature. See, to rise from the impersonal to the Bhagavan, it is not easy. Now, one has to receive the favor only by His mercy, then we can understand. That is explained here. Ishwarer kripalesha hoy to jahare shaita ishwar tattva janibare pare. The Acharya continued, Gopinath Acharya, if one receives but a tiny bit of the Lord's favor by dint of devotional service, he can understand the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he quoted from the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-29. He quoted this. It is actually spoken by Lord Brahma himself. Athapite deva padambujadvaya prasadaleshanugrahita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyeko pichiram vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. See, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of the lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personalities. But those who speculate in order to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Actually, we will go to another verse and come back here. This is in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Prahlad Maharaj, 7.5.30. Shri Prahlad Matirna Krishne Paratah Svato va Mitho Bhipadyeta Grahavratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamisram. You see Tamisram there? Punah Punascharvita Charvananam. Tamisram, hellish life. So actually that conception of oneness with the Lord and all that Tamisram is hellish. That's why devotees Kaivalyam Narakayate Tridasha Pura Kasha Pushpayate Durdantendriya Kala Sarpa Patali Protkata Damshtrayate Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Vidhi Mahendradischa Kitayate Yaha Karunya Kataksha Vaibhavavatam Tam Gauramevastumaha. So this is by Prakashananda Saraswati, very beautiful verse. How a devotee who has achieved the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considers impersonal liberation to be hellish. Kaivalyam Narakayate. Tridasha Purakasha Pushpayate. All those heavenly phantasmagoria, you go to heaven, Nandana gardens, enjoy with apsaras, all that has some, flowers in the sky. Just like phantasmagoria, just like dreams, there's not reality, no reality there. False promises, what is it? Durdantendriya Kala Sarpa Patali Protkata Damshtrayate. The senses which are so strong and otherwise will capture the soul and throw him into this material world, which is also confirmed in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano nuvidhiyate tadas saharati pragyam vayur navam ivambhasi. So that is how our senses are so powerful. But for the devotee who has achieved the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's like a snake with its fangs removed. It's no more poisonous. It cannot bite anymore. So, and then Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, whole universe is full of happiness for him. Because he is always connected, wherever he sees. Sthavar Jangam Dekhe Na Dekhe Tar Murti, Sarvatra Hoy Nija Ishtadeva Spurti. Wherever he sees the Lord. So he is Sarvabhuteshu Yah Pashed, Bhagavad Bhavam Atmana, Bhuteshu Bhagavati Atmani, Esha Bhagavatottamaha. Because he is seeing the Lord everywhere, he is always happy. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. He doesn't mind taking birth and again. It doesn't matter to him at all. Because he is not in the thinking that, Andhatamisra, that after the end of this body everything is finished. No. He knows that my relationship with the Lord is eternally unbroken and it will continue even if this body dies or lives or doesn't matter really. Jivova Marova. It doesn't matter, living or dead. But, of course, we cannot die. Whether this body dies or whether it's living, I will always exist, and as long as I exist, the Lord also exists, and as long as I exist, I can enjoy. I can engage in His service. So that's what He is concerned with. So Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, Vidhi Mahendradischa Kitayate. Vidhi means Lord Brahma, and Mahendra, the Lord Indra, Kitayate, like insects. He for him they are no more important than insects. Yaha Karunya Kataksha Vaibhavavatam Tam Gauramevastumaha. So who has received the Karunya or mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he can think like that. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life, make progress toward hellish conditions, tamisra, and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclination toward Kṛṣṇa are never aroused either by instruction of others, by their own efforts, or by combination of both, or by debates, or whatever it is, they cannot. So therefore, Tarko Pratishta Shrutayo Vibhinna Achintya Khalu Ye Bhava Natam Starkena Yojayet. So therefore he said, if one receives a tiny bit of the Lord's favor, then he can understand. Then he quoted this verse from Bhagavatam. Then, this is 85 and 86. Okay. Yadyapi Jagadguru tumi Shastra Jnanavan Prithivite Nahi Pandit Tomar Shaman ईश्वरेर कृपालेशन नाहिक तुमाते अतएव ईश्वर तत्व नापार जानिते. Gopinath Acharya then addressed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. You are a great scholar and a teacher of many disciples. Indeed, there is no other scholar like you on earth. Actually, that was the fact. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is the incarnation of Brihaspati himself, who was the spiritual master of the demigods. There is no scholar like you on earth. That's why it's called Sarvabhauma. Bhumi means earth. Bhauma means on the earth. Sarvabhauma. That means Sarva, all the whole earth he has conquered with his learning power. Of course, some are called Sarvabhauma because of their Kshatriya, by the ruling power. But he is called Sarvabhauma because he has defeated every other person on the earth. I mean, there was nobody on earth who can match his scholarship. We don't even have any idea of how scholarly Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was. Vastly learned. So vastly learned. So Gopinath Acharya is saying, you are a great scholar and a teacher of many disciples. Indeed, there is no scholar like you on earth. Nonetheless, because you are bereft of even a pinch of the Lord's mercy, you cannot understand him even though he is present in your home. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought the Lord to his home. When he saw him fainted, he wanted to take care of him and brought him. But still he did not believe that was God. Then Gopinath Acharya said further, Tomar nahik dosh, Shastra ei kahe, Pandityadye Ishvara Tattva Jnana kabhu nahe. It is not your fault. It is the verdict of the scriptures. You cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by scholarship. You are a scholar, but you cannot understand the Lord because you don't have His mercy. It's not your fault that you do not know the Lord, because scriptures say that by scholarship you cannot understand the Lord. So you have scholarship, but you cannot understand the Lord. What is the criterion to understand the Lord? Chapter 4, text 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna. To Arjuna, Kṛṣṇa said, Sa evayam maya tedya yogah proktah puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. See, because you are my devotee and friend, you can understand the transcendental mystery. Otherwise, scholarship is not the criterion. One can be a Sanskrit scholar, you will not understand. Now, Sarvabhauma kohe, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, My dear Gopinath Acharya, please speak with great care. What is the proof that you have received the mercy of the Lord and that I did not receive? You are saying I did not receive, but what is the proof that you have received? Right? Good question. So how would you answer this question? Gopinath Acharya answered. Acharya kohe, Vastu Vishaya hoy Vastu Gyan, Vastu Tattva Gyan hoy Kripate Praman. Gopinath Acharya replied, knowledge of the summum bonum, the absolute truth, is evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Knowledge of the summum bonum, the absolute truth, is evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Jai Kṛṣṇa Tattvavita, Shai Guru hoy. The Guru must be a Kṛṣṇa Tattvavita. He should be a complete master in the science of Kṛṣṇa. And that is only achievable if by the mercy of the Lord. As we saw that Athapite deva padambujadvaya prasad leshanugrahita evahi. Now, same thing, if you see in the 2 verses before in the purport, you see Prabhupada says this is a very important verse. Even big scholars cannot understand Kṛṣṇa, yet they dare comment on the Bhagavad Gita. Reading the Bhagavad Gita means understanding Kṛṣṇa, yet we actually see many scholars making blunders in trying to understand Kṛṣṇa. Gopinath Acharya's statement is confirmed in many places in the Vedic literature. In the Kathopanishad 1.2.23 it is stated, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo namedhayana bahuna shrutena yamevaisha vrinute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivrinute tanum swam. Then he also quoted just a few verses before that, 1.2.9 in Kathopanishad again. Naisha tarkena matir apaneya proktan yenaiva sugyanaya preshtha Yam tvam apah satya dhritir batasi tvadranno bhuyan nachiketah prashta. The fact is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supersoul, cannot be attained simply by explanations, logic and erudite scholarship. One cannot understand Him simply by one's brain substance. Even by studying all the Vedic literatures, one cannot understand the Supreme Lord. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktao. However, if one is slightly favored by the mercy of the Lord, if the Lord is pleased, one can understand Him. But who are the candidates eligible to receive the mercy of the Lord? Only the devotees. They alone can understand what is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord reveals Himself to the sincere devotee when He is pleased with his service. Swayameva spuratyadaha. One should not try to understand the Lord simply by from the statements of Vedas. One should one uselessly attempt to decry these statements through reasoning and logic. See that? One should not try to understand the Lord simply from the statements of the Vedas, nor should one uselessly attempt to decry these statements through reasoning and logic. We should not decry them, and just by accepting, what is that? By reading Vedic statements, we cannot really understand. We need the guidance of a guru. So in the Mundaka Upanishad also it is said, yes. So the same verse. So now going to the next one, you see, knowledge of the summum bonum, the absolute truth, is evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Now this is very important. You know why? Okay, we will go a little further and come back to this. See, Gopinath Acharya said, you have seen the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his absorption in an ecstatic mood. Despite directly perceiving the symptoms of the Supreme Lord in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you cannot understand Him. This is commonly called illusion. Ishwarer Maya. A person influenced by the external energy is called Bahirmukhajan. You see the verse. Dekhile na dekhe tare Bahirmukhajan, shuni hasi sarvabhauma balilo vachan. So a person influenced by the external energy is called Bahirmukhajan, a mundane person, because despite his perception, he cannot understand the real substance. Despite his perception, he cannot understand the real substance. If the Lord came to the home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, still he cannot understand. People say, show me God, show me God. Here he was seeing God, he could not understand. Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he was seeing God, but he was thinking God is somewhere else. He was taking an ordinary person to be God. And here God is there sitting, he is taking him to be an ordinary person. See that? So it is not that you see God, you will understand Him. No, you still cannot understand Him unless the Kripa is there. So, hearing Gopinath Acharya say this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya smiled and began to speak as follows. The Bhattacharya said, we are just having a discussion among friends and considering the points described in the scriptures. Do not become angry. I am simply speaking on the strength of the Shastras. Please don't take any offense. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is certainly a great uncommon devotee, but we cannot accept him as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu because according to the Shastra, there is no incarnation in the age of Kali. Okay, before we proceed further, we go back to that verse where that knowledge of the Supreme is the proof. Right? You see, knowledge of the summum bonum, the absolute truth, is evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Why this is important? Because we have seen in that Ritvik series of webinars that we did, and if you see the fourth video in that series, where the twisted understanding of ISKCON about the Guru Tattva, now they are saying Gurus can fall down, they can be second class, they can be third class, it doesn't even matter, and if he falls down, then how much ever he brought you, how far ever he brought you, you can just proceed from that. It's like a broken bus. You take another, that bus was broken now, you take another bus and go ahead and go on with your journey. And in this way they have come up with all kinds of theories. Whereas Prabhupada gave us so clearly that Guru means, he is infallible. Sakshad Hari. Sakshad Hari means, if Hari cannot fall down, then how can Guru fall down? He should be as good as Hari, right? So if one is a Guru, he must be on the platform of Uttama Adhikari and he cannot fall down. He is especially protected by the Lord, he is especially empowered by the Lord to preach, Whoever catches his instructions, they also get delivered. How can he fall down? This is completely absurd. And they have even said to me, this is so-called devotees, a big scholar, by the way, big scholar. That was how he was introduced to me by another devotee. And that devotee writes to me and says that it doesn't matter if the guru is less qualified. A disciple can deliver the guru. He should just become more qualified. If his guru has fallen, the devotee, the disciple should become so strong that he should deliver the guru to Godhead. I mean, so, I mean, you see the knowledge, how it is going. Why? You see this. Knowledge of the summum bonum, the absolute truth, is evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And if the knowledge is becoming so distorted, they don't have the mercy. They don't have the mercy of Krishna because they don't have the mercy of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Yasya prasadāt bhagavat prasado yasya aprasadān nagatih kutopi. So they don't have the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and therefore their knowledge, although they have come to Krishna consciousness, their understanding of Krishna consciousness has become so low that the Guru Tattva, which is one of the most principal, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita starts with Guru Tattva. The first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita is entirely the Guru Tattva. So it is so important, the most fundamental aspects of Krishna consciousness philosophy, they have gotten it completely upside down. Upside down. I mean, Guru has to take the disciple back to Godhead. Here they have come to the conclusion that the disciple has to take the Guru back to Godhead. And for what he is Guru? Actually, Chaitanya, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, he is not a Guru, he is a Laghu. Laghu means light. Guru means heavy. He is heavy with spiritual knowledge, he is heavy, not fragile, not like, but no so light and, gone with the wind kind of person. No, he is not gone with the wind at all. The wind of material, desire will try to push away the devotee, but he is unshaken. Guru napi vichalyate. That is Guru. Heavy. Not lightweight, push over, no. You can't just push him over. The Maya cannot push him over like that. But they think Guru can. That means he is not Guru. He is Laghu. He is light. If you think I made this up, I'll just show you. I'm not making up anything here. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 5. You see, Vipro Rajanya Vaishyauva Hare Praptaha Padantikam Shrautena Janmana Thapi Muhyantyamnaya Vadinaha. On the other hand, Brahmanas, members of the royal order, and Vaishyas, even after being allowed to approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Hari, by receiving the second birth by Vedic initiation, can become bewildered and adopt various materialistic philosophies. You see that? Brahmanas who have been initiated and given the second birth by Vedic initiation can become bewildered and adopt various materialistic philosophies if they are not careful. Here in the purport we will see we have the quotation. Śrīla Prabhupāda's purport to this verse of Bhagavad Gita. Which verse is this? 2.42 Yam imam pushpatavacham. Okay, fine. This is one in the Karma Kanda section. See, as confirmed in this verse by the word muhyanti, they fall into the darkness of ignorance. Although foolish materialistic followers of the Varnashram system desire to maintain their exalted status as Aryans or twice born men, and at the same time neglect the personality of Godhead, or in our words, neglect the instructions of Prabhupada, it is clearly stated in the Bhagavatam, sthanat bhrashtaha patantyadha, such persons inevitably fall from their position into a degraded condition of life. As confirmed in this verse by the word muhyanti, they fall into the darkness of ignorance. Sometimes such pompous persons even present themselves as gurus. However, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed out that they are actually laghu or flimsy rather than guru or heavy with Vedic knowledge. It is one's ultimate duty to oneself, Swarthagati, and to this personality of Godhead to give up all materialistic activities characterized by karma and jnana and surrender fully at the lotus feet of the Lord. Only the most unfortunate person will consider that there is a higher pleasure than ecstatic surrender at the lotus feet of the Gokulananda, the personality of Godhead. You see, only the most unfortunate person will consider that there is a higher pleasure than ecstatic surrender. We could have just ecstatically surrendered to Prabhupada. And they wanted some higher pleasure. They wanted to be gurus. They wanted to receive all the puja, pratishtha, labha, everything. And what happened? They became laghu. And what is the proof that they have become laghu? Their understanding is going wayward. Their understanding, is going way off track. And they are speaking Mayavad philosophies now. Bhagavad Gita is not at all a religious scripture. A so-called devotee of the Hare Krishna movement is saying openly, public, interview, and more than almost 1 million views on the video, and he is talking like this. Look at that. Where is the knowledge of the samam bonam, the absolute truth? That is the evidence of the mercy. So it's very important conversation. All right, I'd like to stop here. Now we'll take any questions that are there, and we will be done with the session. Next, so question by Bhakta Sanjay Sukhdev. Haribol, who is God before Ram, and who and where can one find a genuine guru? Who is God before Ram? Krishna comes in various incarnations. Ramadimurti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Ramadimurti, there are so many forms of the Lord, and before Ram also there are Matsya, Kurma, Narasimha. So many incarnations happen. So Ram and all these avatars are the same, there is no difference. Then where can one find a genuine guru? Then, if one is sincere, he will find a genuine guru. Otherwise, if one is not sincere, even the genuine guru comes before him, he will not surrender. Just like even if God is in front of him, he did not understand. Similarly, if one is fortunate, he will find a genuine guru. Of course, we will say, Śrīla Prabhupāda is the genuine guru. So you don't have to search anymore. But if one is unfortunate, one will go on searching. So, if you want a specific answer, Śrīla Prabhupāda is there. That's it. He is the genuine guru. So you read his books, chant Hare Krishna, take association of devotees who are following him and who are taking him as the genuine bona fide Diksha Guru of the Hare Krishna movement. And thus you will also gain faith in Śrīla Prabhupāda, and likewise you will make progress. Next question by Bhakta Virendra. What do you mean by Brahmanical culture? Krishna consciousness movement is trying to establish Brahmanical culture. Krishna called Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha. Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Brahmanical culture? Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. That is the definition of Brahmana. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. So Brahmana must be expert in the Vedas, the knowledge of Brahman. And expert means Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is called Parabrahman. So Brahman means the whole category of Brahman. Brahman, Paramatma and Parabrahman, Bhagavan. So, of course, even if one is Brahma Janatiti, he is also called Brahmana. But then Vaishnava he knows the Brahma, the spiritual existence or the supreme absolute truth, in it to its highest degree, Kalyanatamam, and he is a Vaishnava. So the Vaishnava is already a Brahmana because of that. So that is Brahmanical culture, to ultimately come to the point of worshipping Krishna. And because a Brahmana is supposed to worship Krishna, and that Brahmana, Krishna is Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, he is the well-wisher of such Brahmanas who actually engage in service of Krishna. Not like, by birth Brahmana, he is never the well-wisher of them. He is a well-wisher of everyone, even in the atheists, but not directly. He let them get punished. That is also well-wishing of Krishna, because if one is punished by Maya, that is also good for him. That punishment is good for him. So, in that way, indirectly he is well-wisher, but directly he is well-wisher of his devotees. Bhakta Vatsala. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Because if real Brahmanas, qualified Brahmanas, and cow. So, cow protection and Brahmanical culture, if it is protected, then Jagadhitaya, the whole universe welfare is taken care of just by taking care of the welfare of the Brahmanas and cows. So, if we take care of them, the whole world's needs are taken care of. Go Brahmana Hitaya cha Jagadhitaya. Kṛṣṇāya Govindāya Namo Namaha. Therefore, he establishes, when he comes down, he first went into the Vaishya family. Although he was born in the Kshatriya family, he went into the Vaishya family and reinforced the importance of cow protection. And then he went to he do Kshatriya activities, and there he saved the Brahmanical culture. He established Brahmanical culture. He was giving charity every day with 13,084 cows from each of his palaces in Dwarka to Brahmanas. So in this way he was, he was completely, follower of Brahmanical culture. So in that way, and of course when he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was the most strictest Brahmana. So that is Brahmanical culture. So next question, Bhakta Virendra. Śrīla Prabhupada used words such as back to home, back to Godhead and love of Godhead. All these words indicate the highest Bhagavan realization. Yes. So Prabhupada translated Bhagavan as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did not say just God. Because others will say, there is Greek God, there is Chinese gods, there is Muslim God, Indian God, Chinese God, what is that? All kinds of gods. And even in Hindu also so-called, there are so many gods. God is used very loosely. So he used the word Godhead, the head of all gods, the master of all gods. It's like the clerk and the clerk head, the head of all the clerks. So like that. So that is one thing. And then he did not stop it there. He did not say just Godhead. Oh, so okay, Godhead. No, he's a personality. He's a person. So everybody will say, oh, personality, oh, he's a person like me and everybody. That is limited, right? So maybe, person. Okay. No, Supreme Personality. Supreme. He's no more, not like good person, better person, not best person also. Supreme person. More than even, superlative. Superlative means there is still some comparison with others. No comparison, supreme. So that is the complete definition. Therefore, the whole phrase he used, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next. Vanajakshi Mataji. Are these three Purushas also called as Mahatattva? What is the difference between Vishnu Tattva and Mahat Tattva? This is a big topic. Anyway, in brief, Mahat Tattva is not Vishnu Tattva at all. So, Tattva means the category or the principle. So, the Vishnu principle, there is Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas Mahat is the material world. So, in the Mahat, the material world is in existence in two states. One is Vyakta and one is Avyakta. So, sometimes the material world is manifest as we see it now with all its varieties. And then when it's wound up, the whole creation is wound up at the time of dissolution, then it comes back to its ingrediential stage. Just like clay, when it is, when the potter, does the pot, now it assumes the name pot and it has a specific use. It contains water, like that. Then, when the pot is broken, then it is no more called a pot, and when it is mixed with the mud, it is called mud. So, it goes back into its ingrediential stage. Now, that ingrediential stage is still having variety because there are 8 varieties. Bhumirapo analo vayurkham mano buddhirevacha ahankaramiti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha. Right? So, these are still, there are ingredients, still there is some variety. And this variety has come upon because of the agitation of the 3 modes. So, originally material energy was one substance, one undivided substance. That is Mahatattva. You can understand in this way, for example, a crude example, okay? In the wood has fire. Do you believe it? Wood has fire. Usually no, right? But in the wood there is the potential of fire. It is in a latent stage. It is not immediately manifest. But if it is heated to sufficient temperature, then it will actually, you can see the fire actually will come out. So when that wood is there, the potency of fire is there, but it is not visible in that manner at all. So in that way, as a good example, so it is in a potential state. Like in physics we have learned this potential energy and kinetic energy. So potential energy means there is that means it has the energy which can be manifested in some other way. In kinetic energy, when it actually, when this bottle is there, this has potential energy, and when it's released, then that speed, so that potential energy has been transferred to kinetic energy. So that is the potential. That means there is a potential of something which is not immediately manifest, not immediately visible, but with some agitation. Like in this case, I move my fingers and it will drop, and it shows that it has energy, although it is still. Here it is still. Like the bottle, if it is carried like this, it is still here. It doesn't seem to have any energy, but when you release, there is some energy actually. It got converted to kinetic energy. So that energy which you can't immediately see, but when it is in the kinetic energy, you can see it is moving. Okay, some energy is being spent there. But from where did that energy come from? That is from the potential energy. And that potential energy also, just now the bottle had potential energy because I used my energy to lift it up. And that energy is stored as potential energy in the bottle, and when it's released, it transfers into kinetic energy. So the potent, the Supreme Lord, his potential energy, in the material world, in his avyakta state, parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakta vyaktat sanatanaha. So you know that verse? Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8. Actually, you can read about this Mahatattva more in detail, but I don't want to go through the whole thing now because it's very, deep. So you can actually read there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, if I'm not wrong. I'll maybe search it out. But you see this 8.20 of Bhagavad Gita, Parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha. So he is saying, yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. And Shankaracharya also said, Narayana paraha avyaktat. He is beyond even the avyakta principle of material nature. Avyakta principle is the potential energy where none of the ingredients are even manifest. Then it becomes prakriti, and then it in the modes of, with the three modes of agitation, agitation by the three modes, then there is so much variety of ingredients, and with those ingredients, then everything is made up of. So you can read this in the Bhagavatam, and also if you let's do a search, Mahat Tattva, the total material energy known as Mahat Tattva. Okay, let's see. There is some information in the Adilila 1.53, but let's go here. Wow, there's so much information in the Chaitanya Charitamrita actually. Let's check. There's a lot of information in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. 131 is also the aggregate of material ingredients, the aggregate material ingredients, that is called the Mahat Tattva. 1.3.1, okay, let's see, Mahadadibhi. But those who cannot catch the constitutional truth are again merged into the Mahat Tattva at the time of annihilation of the material creation. When the creation is again set up, this Mahat Tattva is again let loose. This Mahat Tattva contains all the ingredients of the material manifestations, including the conditioned souls. You see, those conditioned souls who are, just like haven't gone back to Godhead, but the universe already got destroyed. Those universes are just, those souls are just kept in suspended mode in that Mahatattva. This Mahatattva contains all ingredients of the material manifestations, including the conditioned souls. Primarily, this Mahatattva is divided into 16 parts, namely the 5 gross material elements and the 11 working instruments or senses. It is like the cloud in the clear sky. In the spiritual sky, the effulgence of Brahman is spread all around, and the whole system is dazzling in spiritual light. The Mahatattva is assembled in some corner of the vast, unlimited material spiritual sky, and the part which is thus covered by the Mahatattva is called the material sky. This part of the spiritual sky called the Mahatattva is only an insignificant portion of the whole spiritual sky, and within this Mahatattva there are innumerable universes. All these universes are collectively produced by the Karanodakashaya Vishnu, called also the Mahavishnu, who simply throws his glance to impregnate the material sky. So his Mahatattva becomes agitated by the touch of the Lord at the time of creation, and then so many varieties come into being. So that is Mahatattva. So if you still do not understand, then you can read on more and more. So this requires more reading. Anyway, eventually you will understand. Next, whereas Vishnu Tattva means all the personalities who are on the Vishnu category. All the avatars, like in the spiritual world and in the material world. All the expansions of the Lord, like Kṛṣṇa, Brahma, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudev, and Narsimha, Vamana, Matsya, Kurma, all the avatars that we see, they are all Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva. They are in the category of Vishnu. That means they are Vishnu but different forms. That is Vishnu Tattva. And Jiva Tattva, we are Jiva Tattva. And there is Shakti Tattva, which is the energies of the Lord, different energies of the Lord. And then there is Shiva Tattva, which is the principle of Lord Shiva. What is his category of existence? And then there is the Guru Tattva. What is the Guru? What is his existence? So in this way, of course, Guru Tattva, the real Guru is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Jiva Tattva, he can be a Guru. But then Guru Tattva means the philosophy of Guru, the principle of Guru, and what is his qualification, what is everything. So in this way we have to understand the whole philosophy broadly and in detail also. Next, Bhakta Virendra. So question: Viraja is the border between material and spiritual universe. Is it true that both person form worshippers, devotees, and impersonal God worshippers sit and wait on this Viraja to get them permission in the spiritual world? No, devotees don't wait. They don't wait. Nachirat Partha, I'm the swift deliverer from the cycle of birth and death, ocean of birth and death. Kṛṣṇa says, but for the impersonalists, kleshodhikataras tesham, 12.5 of Bhagavad Gita. Just go there. 12.5. Kleshodhikataras tesham avyaktasakta chetasam avyaktahi gatir dukkham dehavadbiravapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. But the next verse, Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavame nachirat partha mayyaveshita chetasam nachirat partha. But those who worship me, in the previously it was impersonalists, but those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of material birth. They don't have to wait anywhere. The Lord comes and picks them up. Next question by Vijay Sharma Prabhu. What is the difference between Mahatattva and Pradhana? So Pradhana, this is even more subtle. I think Pradhana and Mahatattva, well, I have to myself look upon the definitions of Pradhana and Mahatattva. I kind of get confused as well. Pradhana is even more subtle, something like that. Anyway, there is also there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is in detail, is described. Very, very philosophical, very deep. Let's see, it's just Pradhana and Mahat Tattva. Let's see if we can get anything close to the definition. there is something here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the unmanifested eternal combination of the three modes is the cause of the manifest state and is called Pradhana. It is called Prakriti when in the manifested stage of existence. The aggregate elements, namely the 5 gross elements, the 5 subtle elements, the 4 internal senses, the 5 senses for gathering knowledge, and the 5 outward organs of action are known as the Pradhana. Well, thus after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universes within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestations and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. So Parshuram Prabhu is saying Pradhan is the inactive form. So, this is actually Pradhan. It's described here. There is very little difference, but then it's still a difference sometimes. After manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universes within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestation and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. Yeah, because actually there is a huge effulgence in the time of devastation because there's a fire first and there's a rain, there's a lot of so it swallows all that, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. Wow, this is I have to really. Bhagavad Gita 13.6 and 7, Rajagishwar is saying the unmanifested modes of material nature are called Pradhana. Yeah, so it's in the unmanifested stage, and Mahatattva is also kind of unmanifested, but it has, with effect of Kala or time, it becomes active and become Mahatattva. When really? Well, somewhere around there, Pradhana, Mahatattva, and then Prakriti, and then everything that comes out. Well, we can read more and get the exact kind of definitions. It's quite abstract, so we need to really delve into the explanation, then we can really kind of understand. Maybe we won't even understand properly, I don't know. I'm not expert in this, so I've read this many times, Pradhana, Prakriti and Mahatattva. It's like, especially Pradhana and Mahatattva, Prakriti is okay, understandable, but Pradhana and Mahatattva is like almost the same, but somehow not the same. It's all very difficult to understand. Alright, next question by Bhakta Virendra. Is inattentive chanting beneficial and how to avoid it? How can our chanting be attentive, which is real chanting? We just have to try on and on. Well, if I can show you one verse. It is this 6.26 of Bhagavad Gita. Yato nischalati manaschanchalam sthiram yatastato niyamyaitad atmanyeva vasham nayet. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Each time the mind just goes somewhere, then we just have to come back to the listening of the mantra, and by just practicing over and over, we'll get better and better by the mercy of the Lord, by mercy of the spiritual master. That's the only way. There's no other way. And of course, we have to read and hear also, because that will reinforce our faith in the holy name, and that gives more impetus for us to chant attentively and have the respect for the holy name like that. Kṛṣṇa Smaranam Prabhu from USA. Oh, glad that he's here. Can a grahastha become free from the tamas mode? Yeah, why not? Grihe thako, vane thako, sada hari bole rako. So, no one is barred, but it's of course very difficult in the grahastha ashram because there's so many distractions that are there. But it is possible, it is not impossible anywhere. So it's not impossible. Yeah, in grahastha, there are examples, but again, we should not say, oh wow, yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was grahastha and he was pure devotee. Sometimes grahastha, they want to quote him, he's grahastha, no? Why you're saying you should become, brahmachari, sannyas, all this. Grahastha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what is his level? He saw his wife only 15 minutes every day. That's it. That is Bhaktivinoda Thakur grahastha life. So, so we have to try. I mean, Prabhupada has already given us the, of course, I don't want to be discouraging to anybody. And it's not that I have, because I'm brahmachari, I'm very near to Krishna. No, we're close. The thing is, anybody who takes Krishna consciousness seriously, whether he be brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, if he can come to this point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us this. Naham vipro na chanarapatir napi vaishyo na shudro naham varni na cha grihapatir no vanastho yatirva kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bhartuh padakamalayor dāsa dāsanudāsa. So as long as we consider ourselves a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, that means we actually have to become servant of devotees. We have to have that humble attitude. Then we will transcend this varnashram situation. But the problem with grahastha life is that we always get into so many problems and distractions and get away from that dāsa dāsanudāsa thinking. Because as envious householders, grihamedhinam especially, grahastha means when spiritual culture is very strongly practiced, and that means they should associate with the renounced order of life. They should associate with renounced devotees. Then one can be strong in grahastha life. It is possible in any ashram, but the thing is, the grahastha ashram must especially associate very closely with the renounced order of life, renounced order of devotees. Because then they will always be, inspired towards renunciation. Otherwise, if it is just like, everybody just do in their own homes, and then there is some kind of a, politics, they said like that, these, envious householders, Prabhupada always, when he mentioned householders, it is envious householders. And as much as devotees don't want to get into that envious mode, but because we are not perfect devotees, we have seen so much this thing while preaching, that even among devotees, because they are not advanced enough, there is this envious nature sometimes among devotees, especially in the grahastha ashram. So, and it is quite detrimental. And unless we are all practicing our sadhana properly, waking up in the morning, Mangala Arati, chanting our rounds, reading Prabhupada books, engaging in service, and having this dāsa dāsanudāsa mentality, that I am the servant of the servant of the servant of others, but I am not the like overall big time. It's true for all ashrams, even for the sannyasi, but this is especially very distracted from this. The grahastha ashram is especially distracting from this principle, and this envious means I consider myself better than the others, that kind of. So that is very detrimental. So because of that, they have to always associate with renounced devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I am not a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. I identify myself only as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of the universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. So we have to come to the point of dāsa and dāsa. Then yes, whether brahmacharya or sannyas or grahastha, vanaprastha, anybody can make progress. Next. Bhaktavirendra. In the same family only, some are Krishna conscious devotees, while some family members do not follow Krishna consciousness. Why this happens? I like your questions, Prabhu. As if I am the one writing the laws of karma, and Krishna, gave me the, the power to write all the laws of karma. No, if that has happened, Krishna will just, put them together. If he has put, then, just navigate out of it, navigate yourself out of it. And if you can make them devotees, all right, fine. If you can't, then get out of it. Either way, it is always good. It is auspicious. If we become strong devotees, it doesn't really matter whether our family members are devotees or non-devotees. It doesn't matter. Prabhupada's family members were not devotees. That actually, got him to take sannyas, and he went into America and preached, and we are sitting here. So an unfavorable family member is not really a curse, although it looks like a curse when one is in the family. But it's not. It's a good thing. It's a good reason to get out of that and become more renounced and become more fixed up. It's good. But of course, one must be stable enough. It's not that, okay, my wife is like big problem, and then I go out of that and then marry another one. That is not. That means one should not just leave the family because he doesn't like the wife or no. He has to become also strong enough to completely get out of the whole thing and associate with renounced devotees and develop that spirit of renunciation and get out of the whole thing. So that is good if that happens. And if the family members are all devotees, that is also good. Everybody can engage in devotional service, but still they have to associate with renounced devotees and those who are, So to also get always reminded of that renunciation principle, because Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. So that Vairagya principle should always be there. We should never think, oh wow, my family are all devotees, I will never leave them, I will live happily ever after. That's not going to work, because we are going to leave them anyway, and one must cultivate renunciation even if the wife, just like Devahuti and Kardama Muni. Devahuti was such an obliging wife, nothing wrong with her, right? But Kardama Muni took sannyas. So even if fully cooperative wife, still one has to think of renunciation. It's not that immediately one leaves their wife, and we're not saying that. We're not at all saying that to be irresponsible, but at the same time, one has to prepare himself, and also women also must be preparing, and children, everybody should be in that direction. So it doesn't really matter. How Kṛṣṇa, why he puts like that? Their karma, what their karma they did, who knows? You must ask Kṛṣṇa or Yamaraj or Chitragupta. You have to ask them. Then next question by Bhakta Venkatesh. Can we quote something from 11th Canto purport? Good question. That's why I quoted Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's explanation there. So that is not some unauthorized person's explanation. That was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in the 11.5.5 purport that I have quoted. So whenever there is Acharya's commentary that is there, that we can quote. Why not? But if they are writing their own thing, that we can stay away from, because what their realizations are and they offended Prabhupada. So that's a different thing. But then the translations, you can see we have quoted so many verses from 11th Canto, from this and that, but they all are coinciding with Prabhupada's philosophy, right? So that is not wrong. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying, you don't want to listen to that? There is a point there to learn that those are not gurus, they are laghus. So that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying. So then next, that's why I heard the worst explanation of this so-called strict followers of original books. We are 100% for original books of Prabhupada, right? But these people, they have said, recently one devotee told me that there were some devotees who told that devotee that there was a report. Every year there is a Sankirtan report of how many books, and every day there is a report in Vrindavan temple, and they have I think annual report also. So how many thousands of books and all were sold, and all the numbers were tabulated. And then this person saw that and they said, wow, so many thousands of changed Bhagavad Gitas were distributed. I don't think Yamaraj has any place in the hell anymore. I don't think he has enough buses to take those souls who have bought those books and who sold those books to put them in hell. He doesn't have enough place. That is absolute rubbish, absolute absurdity. Because, yes, to change the book, to change the word of the spiritual master, yes, that is an offensive mentality. But, and we are not condoning any changes. It's not that we are supporting those changes. No. At the same time, more than 99% of the book is still Prabhupada's words. You mean just by those, some small change here and a small change there? Yes, if they completely change the philosophy, that's worst. That's no more Prabhupada's books. Now, even though they change this, We are not supporting them. But how much did that change what Prabhupada is saying in those books? More than 99% are still the original words of Prabhupada. You think Prabhupada is so important that by those changes a little bit here and there, the entire material of Prabhupada is now rendered useless and his books are taking people to hell. Is that a right way to even talk about Prabhupada's books? Prabhupada is so important that his words don't work. And within those changes also, how many have actually changed the meaning of the word, of the verse or whatever Prabhupada was intended? If the meaning is not much changed, again, the damage is not as much. We have at least access to original English books. What about those who don't have? In all other languages, in all other ethnicities, whether it be Hungarian or Russian or Spanish or say Chinese or so many Indian languages, Tamil, Telugu, and all these are translations of the changed books. Now, what about them? They are all going to hell. Is that so? I read changed books for your information. I read changed books. I read the changed Bhagavad Gita 3 times before I came to the temple here. But with the right association, you can be molded in the proper way. Then the devotees told me, okay, this is a mistake, this is a mistake. They changed in this way. They changed that into this. Okay, then I knew what they did. But not that. I have seen holders of original books, and they are, supporting the gurus. They are with ISKCON supporting the gurus. What about them? They are reading original books, right? What happened to them? And nowadays, there is, I think about 5 to 7 years ago, there was released another pocket version of the original Bhagavad Gita. Original Bhagavad Gita, which does not have the Sanskrit word, in Sanskrit Devanagari script, and it does not have the word-to-word meaning, just has the, like this English kind of words. This is an app, okay, fine. But in that book, they call it the original 1972. But there is no word-to-word. That is not original. That is completely changed. In the name of original, that is going on. So what about that? And they say, oh, people are going to hell. That means they have absolutely no faith in the potency of Prabhupada, that even in the changed books, Prabhupada's words, 99.9% of those words are his words only still. So those are all important now, is it? These people, they never run temples. They don't distribute books. They don't run temples. They just sit down on their social media, keyboard warriors. We call them keyboard warriors. They just type some comment always. And when they meet somebody, they will talk nonsense like this. These people absolutely have no faith in Prabhupada's books. So we have to be a little bit intelligent, to understand that what Prabhupada is saying, if it is supported, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is quoting here and he is saying Laghu. How is that wrong? How is that wrong? If it is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying. And these people are saying, oh, those who are distributing those changed Bhagavad Gitas are going to hell, and those who are taking it are going to hell, and Yamaraj has no place for it. What kind of comment is that? These people are going to hell, who are talking like this about Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's words. Yes, we should understand, yes, there have been changes, that is not correct. Yes, we have to understand all that. But they are not potent enough to change Prabhupada's books. The main thing is the right association. If you are in the association of the devotees who understand, okay, well, this is what Prabhupada, and in the original book also there are some mistakes, and Prabhupada wanted those mistakes to be changed. That is also there. And one more thing, in Bhagavad Gita, in the changed one, they have added the index of verses quoted in the purports of the Bhagavad Gita, which is very useful for a preacher, which is not there in the original one. So that addition is good. Alright? And one more thing I have seen, in the 1866, Prabhupada mentioned the 6 aspects of surrender. He actually translated that verse. They added the Sanskrit there, just before the translation. So that is the verse there. So that is also good. Prabhupada also used that in other places, that same Sanskrit. They just added that verse there. And in the introduction, Prabhupada translated the Gita Mahatmya, which is by Adi Shankaracharya, 7 verses of Gita Mahatmya, he translated. In the original book, it's just the translation, and in the changed one, they added the actual verses in the Sanskrit. That is also good. It's not against Prabhupada. He just added the Sanskrit there, put there. That's all. And because of that, I could learn that those Gita Mahatmya verses I could memorize, and many devotees can memorize. So that's good. And it is not that we have to do all everywhere. And they change unnecessarily some words. No need for that. Why do as if Prabhupada's words were not clear? That is unnecessary, totally unnecessary, and we are against that. So the abridged version of the Bhagavad Gita had many things which Prabhupada wanted to write, include all the verses. Nothing was there, just like Kṛṣṇa book like that. The abridged version is like Prabhupada did not like that, because he wanted that every word and every word to word meaning transliteration. How much work is that? And these people have taken out all the word to word translations, and then they say that is original book. And they say this is not original because some words here and there changed, some shlokas were added, and an index of verse is quoted, that is added, and that is a problem for them. And whereas taking out all the word to word is not a problem for them. Their whole view is distorted because they themselves never read the books. If the person really reads Prabhupada's books, he will really appreciate the word to word meanings. That is the most underrated contribution of Śrīla Prabhupada. We can learn verses because of those word to word. I have stressed this so many times in the shloka course also. But this, they don't read. That's why they don't understand the value of what is there. By word to word only. Anyway, translation is there, purport is there. So these people actually never read Prabhupada's books. But they say original. And they do know. And then they read Prabhupada's books. And what are they doing? Are they doing anything? Are they preaching? Are they running any temple? No. That also no. They don't make devotees. They don't have to distribute books in other languages, where you have to distribute the changed versions. They don't have all these problems because they don't take any responsibility of preaching, and they just comment on those who try to preach. We had so many people attacking us for this thing, and this is our stand. All right. So next, question by Bhakta Vishnu Teja. Prabhu, why are there mango trees in the spiritual world? There is no sense gratification. What? Why are there mango trees in the spiritual world? There is no sense gratification? I didn't understand that question at all. I didn't understand. Next question by Krishna Smaranam Prabhu from USA. Can one say that ISKCON gurus and the disciples are the same as the cheaters and the cheated? And can they go back to Godhead? If you offend a Vaishnava, what happened to Jaya and Vijaya? From the abode of Godhead they fell down because they offended Vaishnavas, pure devotees. 4 Kumaras, who are the acharyas of one of the 4 sampradayas. So when they offend Vaishnava like that, even from Vaikuntha they fell down. By offending Prabhupada, how can they go to Vaikuntha? You can see, as I shown in the verse, the proof. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Gopinath Acharya, where is the proof of that you have the mercy of the Lord, but I don't. And because the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proof of the mercy of the Lord. Now the knowledge of, especially the Guru Tattva, is just like falling apart. It fell apart. It's just like completely horrible, horrendous. It's laughable, completely laughable. It's a joke, complete joke. We have seen that in the Ritvik series. Their constitution, ISKCON constitution, law book. It is a joke book. So that is because of, their knowledge is going down, and they are speaking Mayavad now. All kinds of things they are doing now. And you see all the Kirtaniyas, all these people. What kind of a nonsense? They are chanting Hare Krishna and playing all the mridanga very nicely. You ask them to explain something about Kirtan, they better not open their mouth, because the rubbish that they are talking, absolutely, and they are doing yoga and all these materialistic things are coming completely into this. That means the mercy is going away. So therefore, we have to understand that, they are being cheated. It's a strange thing. Before the person gets initiated, the person has some chance to be saved. Once the person gets initiated, that he is sentimentally attached to the Guru, he doesn't want to change anymore. Next, question by Tapasya Prabhu. Jiva Goswami states in his Bhakti Sandarbha, Yatha Pashanda Margena Dattatreyarshabha Devopasakanam pashandinam. Worshippers of impersonalists like Dattatreya are also pashandis. Hare Krishna Prabhu, where there is mention of Dattatreya, what is the meaning of Dattatreya? Dattatreya is one of the incarnations of the Lord who had, he is the combination of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Yes, actually he preached impersonalism, and therefore, actually one of the purports Prabhupada also mentions, I think in that purport, Prabhupada mentions that Dattatreya's philosophy is impersonalism, so therefore, just like we don't worship Lord Buddha, because his philosophy is against the Vedic philosophy. So similarly, Dattatreya is also not to be worshipped because of this reason, because he preached impersonalism for whatever reason. I don't know what are the exact specific circumstances were, but he preached impersonalism. That's why that's called atheism. Next question by Bhakta Virendra. After the completion meditation, did Lord Brahma hear Omkar from Krishna's flute, and Lord Brahma used the Gayatri Mantra in his creation, which was revealed to him from the spiritual world? In the Brahma Samhita there is mention. In the Bhagavatam, I don't know if he hears this every time in the day when he wakes up, or was that once when he heard that and then actually he fell down. He had this attraction for his daughter, but Prabhupada said after he heard that Bhagavatam from the Lord, the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, he never fell down. So that means the days following that also he did not fall down. So does he hear Bhagavatam every time, or every time he speaks to the Lord, and each time whatever the Lord says is Bhagavat, right? So in that way he's always hearing from the Lord. But that flute, the sound, Omkara, that is all before he even saw the Lord for the first time. He couldn't even see the Lord, and he was empty in the creation. That was when that he was initiated. But then after that he saw the Lord. So Manjukesi Mataji from Philippines. Hare Krishna Prabhu, in Grihastha life, what if only one person is strong in Krishna consciousness? How to pull the other person when he himself cannot lift his own spiritual life? What is the best thing to do in this kind of situation? Should he give up because you are also taking his karma? Thank you. Well, no, it's not immediately give up. You can if we are not strong enough, then let us become strong first. So that is the first thing. Work on ourselves first, and become a devotee. Sometimes it is impossible to change them. It does not depend on us. It's whether Krishna wants to choose and make them devotees or not. We can only try. If they don't become devotees, then that's a different thing. So try our best, and if they don't, then if he's especially against or something, then one has to stay with devotees or whatever one has to do. If one can be still in the house and still maintain, that's fine. And especially in India, the wife will not generally leave the husband. But in other countries, it's a little bit different. They leave each other easily. Sometimes they stay separated and then like that. So whichever is, but don't lose association of devotees. That's the main thing. Whatever it is, our association with devotees should not be lost. So that's what we have to work towards, and pray to Krishna to give us that strength to be with devotees, and in that state we will improve. So Vishnu Teja is saying, no Prabhu, I thought since there is no sense gratification, can you still eat from the trees in the spiritual world? They don't eat for sense gratification. They eat with Krishna. They're having a fun time. As you can see that picture where Krishna is sitting in the center and then so many boys around him and all of them coward boys they're eating. So it's all out of pleasure. It's out of pleasure. It's not out of compulsion. Here we have to eat out of compulsion. If we don't eat, we'll starve, we'll die. There they eat. Whatever we see here, Janmadhyasya yataha, the supreme absolute truth is the origin of everything. So in the spiritual world also the same activities are to be found. But they are not out of necessity that they are performed, they are out of pleasure. That's why it's Ananda Chinmaya. Here it is not Ananda. If I don't eat, I'll die. So there they eat, but not because of compulsion, not by force. It is just it is a pastime there. It's a leela. Here it is karma. We are forced. So everything here that is done, it is done also there, but it's not with limitations like here. And they are not just mango trees there. All the trees are kalpavriksha. You can get mango. If you ask the tree, no, I don't want mango, I want apple. And he will give apple. No, I want, the coconut. No, coconut, fine. Whatever you want. So whichever thing they want to serve Krishna with, that will come out. So the same tree can have many, many fruits. Here one tree will have one fruit only. There same tree will have many fruits. Everything is possible there. And you can offer flowers also. Anything you want. Anything. So we will stop here. Shri Īśopaniṣad ki Jaya. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jaya. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki Jaya. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.